live. We're now recording live.
Okay. Are we? Okay.
Yep. What's on your mind?
Well, let's jump straight into it. Karen has struck.
Okay.
So let's do this together.
Yep.
Would you like to debrief everyone on what happened today? Why today's such a significant day in Victoria, or in Australia, sorry. The land of the free.
Well, I can give brief headlines. And the brief headline is that Australia's eSafety Commissioner, in conjunction with Parliamentarian MP Minister Annika Wells and Prime Minister Albo, have today enacted the under 16 social media ban, wherein their objective is to protect kids on social media from certain harms that exist on those platforms. And there's no doubt that there are harms, but they've created a shitstorm of controversy because their method for getting kids under 16 off these apps might well involve tracking, ID verification, banning anonymous accounts, etc. And in that way, there's an infringement on free speech, which unfortunately the eSafety Commissioner does not seem to have any interest in at all. Is that a fair summary of where we're at?
Yeah, well, I'm just looking at the Herald Sun, and the live report says, enough is enough. PM hails Australia's social media ban. And it's got Anthony Albanese has labelled Australia's social media ban for under 16s, now this is true, one of the biggest social and cultural changes that our nation has faced. Well, okay. Follow our live blog.
That's a fairly dramatic statement.
What the fuck are you talking about? Like, it sounds like we're going to war.
I mean, when I was a kid in the 80s, 70s and 80s, my mother's equivalent of this social media ban was to refuse to have a television in the house. It was a TV ban. And she was coming from some of the similar...
Well, your mum imposed that herself. It's nothing to do with the government.
Nothing to do with the government. And she was trying to sort of avoid the harms of television. It wasn't a social media harm, but it was a sort of an algorithmic, addictive sort of rabbit hole of just watching shit on television and being influenced by whatever shit was on television. So this attitude has been around forever. So when Albo says, this is a world-leading dramatic cultural change, what a load of shit. I think, given my experience.
He's saying, my pride in which to be the Prime Minister of Australia has never... Whatever, mate. This is world-leading. This is Australia showing enough is enough. This reform will change lives for Australian kids, and it's about our families taking back control. I don't really want to read much more of the bullshit he's crapping. But what I have noticed is that when the Karen was talking about it, or her little, I don't know, it was a boss or subordinate, whatever it was,
yeah,
she kept banging on about how it was saving lives. She was making out that, literally, if they didn't impose this ban, I don't know, 40% of kids under 16 are going to commit suicide because, they're all getting bullied.
Yeah, 40% of kids had experienced harm of some description.
Well, she was literally saying, we're saving lives. This is literally about, like, she made out that it was like, I don't know, like the road toll, like banning alcohol.
Well, it sounds like an echo of what we hear from the transgender community. If you don't let 11-year-old kids actually physically, hormonally, surgically transition or commence transition, then you're basically enabling suicides. And then Jacinta Andrews was challenged on this by a journalist a few weeks ago, and the journalist said when Jacinta was saying, trans surgeries and whatnot save lives, prevent suicides, the journalist said, where's your stats? And the smug Jacinta Allen said, how dare you question these stats? What are you in favor of child suicide? Something like that.
Yes.
And it was they went and then dug up the stats, and they're completely spurious, semi-made up stats. This eSafety sounds like another example of that.
Oh yeah, it's just like, what better way it's just dramatizing, isn't it? It's like, oh look, we're saving lives. It's all about literally, we're not just protecting the kids, we're saving their lives. Exactly.
And can I just add one more bit to that?
Yeah.
A newspaper, probably one of the Murdoch ones, did a freedom of information request on the stats behind Karen's assertion that lives were at risk through suicide. And after much resistance, they responded to the FOI request with the survey data that underpinned her assertion that kids' lives were at risk. And it was a very, very weak self-reported survey where kids were asked, "Oh, are you on social media?" Yes. Have you experienced harm? Yeah.
Have you ever felt suicidal?
I'm not sure if they even asked that, but
Go
maybe.
drill that deep. So it's not
Maybe
actually,
they
they
did.
didn't say, okay, well, out of, a population of X number of kids, we've had 10% suicide as a direct result of bullying on social media. They had nothing like that to back up the claim that it was saving lives.
No, there's no sort of nothing rigorous. I mean, look,
Just they asked a few people and they sort of made general, and probably with, very coached questions as well.
yes, leading questions. And the fucked up thing about this whole thing is nobody wants kids to experience whatever the word harm means, as broad as that might be. Nobody wants kids to experience that. We all know that kids can be nasty to each other, and there's bullying, and there's schemers and scammers online and so forth. So the conclusion, or so the objective, we all agree with. It's how we get there. And this rather draconian step they've taken of banning kids off media, I ask the question, why has it not been discussed? Why has it not been explored as an alternative to empower parents, to empower schools, to empower teachers, right? Because basically 99.9% kids who are 16 and under in school, right? So there must be a way to empower those existing community structures and family structures to ensure that kids who get a phone, and a phone is not cheap, so kid, here's a phone with software attached, which blocks out all that shit.
Yeah.
Once you turn 16, software's gone. By virtue of the parent or the school saying, okay, it's off.
Well, let's move on to the next point that was made, that this is only supposed to impact kids under 16.
Okay.
And adults would only get caught up in this in error.
Okay.
And then they claim that there's an appeals process. If you are flagged in error, then you can appeal to the social media company.
Okay.
But when they say appeal, what they mean is you will have to prove your identity in order to maintain your account. Otherwise, you're locked out and you can never use it again. So this was my fear that I raised with you, and you were a little bit. And when I looked into it, it looked as though if the social media companies identify that you're using a VPN, they can block your account. I just looked at it, I was very alarmed because I thought there's just so many ways that they can, when you looked at the legislation, the way it's written and how it's going to be enforced, from their point of view, to avoid getting a fine, it's probably better to just block as many people. You're of the opinion that they want to keep the customers, and I understand that.
Yeah.
But as the nerd that I found on YouTube pointed out, our population is tiny. We have zero impact on the world in regards to users of social media. You know, if you're looking at the billions of people that use it, we're lucky to the under 16. Just the whole cohort of Australia is still only going to be, I don't know, 15 million. Let's say, for argument's sake, that's probably a high number
In terms of the potential users,
people that may be using the
I see your point.
So, as the nerd said, it's probably easier for the companies to just put a blanket, let's block. Easier to block people than not block them and risk being fined, because at the end of the day, our customer base is so small, it's not going to affect their bottom line.
So you're saying there's a propensity, there's likely to be a propensity for them to block first, verify later in a draconian way where identity is exposed, rather than try and be as close as possible to this grey line that the government's drawn about what they should or shouldn't do in terms of age verification.
Well, we're about to go into real life experience.
Well,
Together, we're going to do this on day one and have a look at my TikTok account.
Okay.
And see what's happened.
Well, should we do the TikTok now, or watch a video of Matt Canavan asking eSafety Commissioner what some of her processes and protocols are?
I don't think we should cut to the chase and do this, because I want to.
On this? Okay, let's go. TikTok, then we'll get to...
Because I think it's incredible. Well, are you saying let's watch when they say how unlikely it is that you're going to get asked for ID if you're over the age of 16?
What the Canavan video shows is that the eSafety Office has not been very thoughtful, or they're not disclosing what they actually expect the social media companies to do in terms of what rules they're trying to enforce. eSafe commissioner is saying, look, you need to make a more than reasonable or reasonable effort to ensure that kids under 16 are not on your platform. And it's up to the social media company to say, well, what exactly does that mean? How sharp do we need to be in that fine line? The grey areas, the sort of,
Which I guess brings me to my fear that, they're going to be overly cautious, because at the end of the day, the risk for them is multi-million-dollar fine, which probably isn't much for them, but I don't know. The fines are supposed to be huge.
Yeah.
And versus the customer base of a few million users.
Yeah. No, and there's precedence. I think the example of Twitter, X, pulled out of Brazil some years ago when the Brazilian court said you must disclose details of your user accounts to the government or something like that.
Oh, yeah, they did, didn't they? They didn't even blink, did they? So that's when, okay, we'll just shut you down.
See you later.
Yeah, they couldn't care less.
So, I mean, the other side of this coin is that social media accounts and YouTube accounts and whatnot, and the internet in general, is an enormous source of knowledge and community and positivity and productivity, right? That's the other side of the coin, as well as a lot of really nasty shit.
Well, the bottom line is that without it, we're beholden to mainstream media. And as we saw through COVID and many other examples,
yes,
that is just propaganda.
And this is the dirty little secret that eSafety is not actually disclosed, although it's not hidden, but it's not well explained. She is in tight with the global cabal of misinformation industry types. Like this lady Jankowicz, who was Biden's misinformation czar. Our eSafety is co-presenting at conferences, going on radio shows with this lady. This is a lady who was appointed by Biden as the misinformation lady. She was then exposed as being a great purveyor of actual proven misinformation. For example, on COVID vaccines, on the Hunter Biden laptop story in the US.
It's just, I mean, you don't have to look far, do you, to find there's just too many examples. Too many examples.
She was a partisan political actor and playing at being even keeled.
Yeah. And I guess my research, I'll just sort of delve into it a little bit, is that the way that they intend you to prove your ID, which is pretty crazy, is a driver's license or a passport. That's one method.
Okay.
So they're basically what they've said is, well, that's probably your first method. We're going to find out anyway. We're going to find out what they want. But alternate to that is some sort of AI digital face tracking, which is terrifying, because how do you access your phone? With facial ID. So that's going to be floating around on the internet. The other option that I found was to link something to your bank account. Give in your bank account details. And then they look at your bank account, and then they'll decide on the transactions whether or not you're over 16.
Oh, really?
And they're saying that's the recommended. They're saying this is the most because apparently it's a third party that doesn't actually access your banking. Well, they must. I don't know, but that sounds terrifying to me. So they're giving whichever way you go, you're giving a third party that's not the government, apparently. Although I don't know. I imagine some of this might be my conspiracy theory brain thinks that sooner or later that's going to feed back to a government database.
For sure. I mean, I don't trust the corporations any more than I trust the government, but
no.
I do object to any of them demanding that.
Well, I'd almost rather give my information to the government, because at least it's the government. At least they're elected. Who are these people? Well, who the hell's Google and Facebook, and who are they?
They're fucked. But you're trying to tell me the government's some degree better?
No, but
the government is the one who's pushing this whole nonsense.
No, I'm not trying to justify the government in any way.
Who are you?
I don't. Well, I'd rather not give my ID to anybody.
Fair.
But I really don't see, because the thing that I remember was when Facebook decided to block the president of the United States, like block his account.
Yeah.
So that he couldn't message. He just couldn't use it. He was blocked from Facebook.
Couldn't go direct to elect the electorate.
Who the hell is Mark Zuckerberg to decide whether or not the president of the United States can communicate with people via his platform?
Yeah, that's a good question.
And he did it.
Some people say, well, it's a private service, so he does have that right. But then other people say,
then why are we handing our personal ID across to these people?
Well,
if that's the case.
Well, the other side of the coin is that these platforms are basically the new town square, and you mess with the sort of the openness of political discourse by limiting people's access to these forums. Okay, well, anyway, should we move on?
Yeah, let's
go into your TikTok
video. See what. Whichever way you look at it, it's things are moving in a very, very, very bad direction at a rate of knots.
Are we watching your video, TikTok, or my video?
No, we're going to watch your video.
Okay.
This is the background, and then we'll go in and we'll do a live Karen TikTok consequence. I guess while waiting for the load the video, I have a TikTok account. I've had it for a number of years. I don't really use it. I've never posted anything on it, but I do look at stuff and I do forward things to people. And wham, bam, thank you, Tam, I have been blocked straight away.
Because you haven't done the age verification?
Well, we're going to find out, but it looks as though I've literally come up with a message saying that I need to prove that I'm over 16.
Okay, here we go.
So we'll go through the process and see what it entails.
And look, I'll be very, very quick. I realise your committee is way behind time. Just had a couple of questions on behalf of young people that I've spoken to in the past year as we've developed this under-16 ban. I've gotten to know a very successful, amazing young Australian called Leo Pugliese. He's established an online news platform, known now as 6 News. He set that up when he was 11, and he set it up on YouTube, or Twitter then. I'm just trying to understand as it comes next week or the next couple of weeks,
Can I ask you a quick question?
would an 11-year-old now be able to...
Yes.
Can I preempt? Is this the same video where he talks about his kids using his account?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, this is really interesting. I don't think I watched the whole thing, but the bit about the kids was crazy shit, man. Crazy shit.
Let's see.
do what Leo did and set up a political news, current affairs platform on social media and become as successful as he has over the past 15-odd years?
Leo's gone down, mate.
I mean, again, this was a bill passed by Parliament, and I'm not sure how much consideration had been given to that. I
agree with you.
I would have thought, he's a pretty amazing individual and had a lot of runway. I do think there may be some exceptions if, say, it is a parent-run account.
Chanel.
Sorry?
She's wearing a Chanel jacket.
Yeah, that's a bold choice for Senate estimates.
Isn't it? It's like, oh, yeah, I'll just spending the taxpayer money wisely. She's like that other bird.
I guess
36 grand Anika, is it?
Anika Wells.
Yeah. 36K.
I think she's actually very Hillary Clinton.
This bird?
Yes. In terms of the sort of, maybe it's just the American accent, but it's more than that. It's the sort of the tone, it's the sort of the weariness and fatigue that is sort of presented as a way of appearing, deep and thoughtful and hardworking. And maybe she is all those things, but the stylistic expression is of all those factors.
Well, I always enjoy these sorts of things because the politicians just don't. They just stumble, don't they? I'll see how she goes, but they tend to stumble a lot, and they don't really know what the hell they get exposed. They don't have a clue what the hell they're talking about.
All right, shall we go?
All right, keep going.
the one feature of this is that the onus falls on the platforms themselves. They're not allowed to host.
Let's keep it professional.
Don't
Get into
hold
that
the-
out.
I'm sorry if I...
Yeah.
Okay, because I just don't want to hold the committee up.
Yeah.
So are you saying that a parent could sign up the account and then their 11-year-old child could do the video, because he was presenting to screen, and that is sort of a presenter who does interviews. He interviewed the Prime Minister when I think he was 13 or 14 or something. So if they're using their dad's or mum's account, can they legally go on and produce video content?
Well, there won't be any legal repercussions for young people or parents who.
No. Okay. Would I suppose just maybe if we could try and get to the point as much as possible. Would Google be obligated in that case to take down those videos or to shut down that account if they find that a 12-year-old kid is using their parents' account to post video content on political affairs or current affairs?
I think it will depend, Senator, on who holds the account, because that's the obligation. The obligation relates to, the having of the account by the individual. If it's held by business, that wouldn't be captured. If it's held by the parent, that wouldn't be captured.
It would be captured, so Google would have an obligation to shut that account down.
Wouldn't be captured. So held
I'm
by,
imagining a scenario where a 17-year-old kid opens 30 or 40 accounts and then sells them to, or rents them to this 14-year-old.
Just like the Uber Eats guys do in the UK.
Exactly. And per this fellow who's telling us that the business or the parent, the holder of the account, that's the metric on which...
Well, I mean, she just made it quite clear that were someone to do that, it would obviously be, it would obviously not illegal, and they would face no legal repercussions whatsoever.
Well,
I mean, they're bypassing the rules, and they're technically what you're doing should be illegal. But she just verified, well, no, that no one will face any legal repercussions. So
it's the companies only.
that scenario that you've just put forward is 100% correct.
Yeah.
Nothing to stop anyone doing that.
Okay.
Perfectly legal. Good idea. Maybe we should sell it on the internet. Maybe we should do it.
Yeah, go around marketing to 14-year-olds. Hey, kiddies, can we sell you a social media account?
Is it Tully's mates? And
No, dude, they're so far ahead.
by a business or by a parent, that wouldn't be captured.
So Google could allow content that the young person has recorded and uploaded, and they're using social media then, aren't they? And they're interacting online with comments. I mean, presumably people then would comment on the video. Isn't that what you're trying to ban?
I think it will depend on the individual circumstances. It will be a matter for the platforms to assess who they think actually is holding the
individual
account.
circumstance right there, isn't it? So just give you a yes or no answer about it.
But see what she did? She just handballed it, said, oh, it's up to the companies to figure it out. So we're going to stand here ready to find the fuck out of them, and we're giving them very vague directions. So they're going to jump left or jump right, and not until they land is eSafety going to say, you've done the right thing or not?
Yeah, well, she can't even give a straight answer. Like, how's Google supposed to know whether or not that's against the law if she can't say it?
Yeah.
And it's her whole baby.
Yeah. I mean, it's a devilish thing. Like, she's about to go on and say how nasty YouTube is in some of their own self-surveys, whatever. No, I understand that. So we're not here defending these social media companies because I think they're shit and I think kids should not be on them. What we're really here to talk about is what is the best way to get these kids off this stuff, or at least only have them on it in sort of healthy, productive ways. Okay, shall I go?
I don't know. I think the whole thing, I don't understand. Look, I think this is a Trojan horse. I think it's got nothing to do with kids. I don't think that anyone gives a fuck about kids' safety. I think it's quite obvious that the holes that this guy's showing in the whole process indicate that that's not what it's about at all. And we're about to find out with my TikTok account that it's probably more about capturing everybody's ID than it is about protecting kids. But, maybe I'm wrong.
And just on that note, can I say there is so much of our personal ID with the government, with the social media companies that are on, with YouTube, right? We've given a lot of stuff away quite willingly.
Yeah.
So some people say, well, what are you complaining about? You've already given it all away to Tom, Dick and Harry already. That's true. But I think one of the key things here is we like to think that on these social media networks, if we wanted to create a new account to say something controversial or edgy, hopefully not nasty, racist, bigoted, prejudiced, but something politically unsavory to those in power, right? That is a courageous thing to do in your own name, and many people won't. And there are some people who say, you know what, if I can do it anonymously, I will say it. And that is the terrifying thing about what's going on here.
And the precedent's been set that that's the climate in the UK.
Yes.
It's created, so it's not like a fantasy scenario.
Yes.
It's very real. But
very
as soon
real.
as they can track you. And like you say, I think the difference is, yes, we gave, like Facebook, I do remember a cop or someone was saying, it's incredible, we could never get that, because cops used to use it back in the day.
Really?
We used to use it back in the day when I worked for the government, when we wanted to see what people were up to. You've got to log into their Facebook account, they've got a serious injury and they can't walk, and then
gotcha.
slides up in Sunshine Coast and Waterwell. There was all sorts of stuff. So police have been using it for ages. They love it.
Gotcha.
But the difference is that there was no government. That was just you being yourself and being honest. You didn't I've never handed over a government-issued ID to any of those companies.
Oh, is that right?
No,
When we signed up back in the day.
you just signed up. You just put your name, and you're honest because you're communicating basically with your friends.
Yeah.
But there was nothing that you had to prove.
Well, up until today, the 10th of December, the sign-up protocol required an email address, whatever you want that to be.
Yeah.
But you need to be live and you had access to it. A name of any description or a handle or nickname, so that was not identifying. Often they ask for a phone number. Is that right?
That's like dual. Maybe that's if you get locked out. Dual factor.
I know that the dating apps require a phone. I mean that they're obviously asking
GPS, don't they? That's why they do it.
for the. No, well, I think they do it so there's a degree of greater knowledge of who you are, even though it's not your real name. A phone number is the beginning of identifying factors. I think. Okay.
I can see that there would be ways where a parent or a business could be the person uploading the videos, for example. So a young person could interview the Prime Minister and their parents could post that up onto a particular account. The harms are obviously around the actual interaction, so it would be a matter for, I guess, the platform and the parents in how they might manage it.
I think I agree with the eSafety Commissioner's original comment there that maybe we should have thought about this stuff. In fact, I recommended this very thing in my dissenting report, that we should look at exemptions for news reporting, educational purposes, etc. Anyway, moving on. The other question I wanted to ask is on behalf of my children. I don't know why YouTube's been captured. I mean, I've had some great family experiences on YouTube. We all hung out for part 3 of the Punic Wars of Oversimplified's series. We watched that all together as a family. Most of my kids now are massively into Roman history. One child's studying rocket science, basically because he got to learn that through YouTube. And that was through the algorithm, right? He starts, researching rockets, and the algorithm leads him to MIT lectures. And now he's studying that as an adult. I don't understand. I mean, I get there's maybe some harm, but I feel like you haven't fully captured the positive benefits, including of the algorithm, because the algorithm takes an interest in history and politics and science and shows you more interesting content. There's some positive elements of that, aren't there?
Well, some of our research did show that 96% of 10 to 15.
Just one second.
Oh, I was just going to say that when it comes to the comments on YouTube, my experience with comments is that they're basically hilarious. Like, I've never encountered anything nasty on YouTube. Like, if you look up Billy, what's his name? David Goggins.
Yeah.
The comments for him used to be priceless.
David Goggins is the Navy SEAL fitness fanatic guru.
And the comments would be like, "Oh, David Goggins wakes his own alarm clock up." And like that. he wakes the alarm clock up.
Dude, you need to submit that to some sort of Senate inquiry, because they could use that sort of information in their analysis.
They're just like really funny, clever and witty, and I don't remember. People don't really digress that much on YouTube. I mean, sure, on Twitter and stuff they do.
But what maybe this is information for another podcast, but I would love to see a list of the harms that are actually trying to be protected against, because this whole eSafety thing, she only ever got the job in the office was only created and she got the job in the first place because of the risk of child suicide through online social media based bullying. That was the beginning of all this, right? And that's a very, very worthy objective. Nobody disagrees that should not be seriously looked at and seriously fought against and remedied, right? But along the way, we've seen sort of, just like the transgender suicide argument, as we were saying before, we've seen to see a lot of these stats and causations and so forth are spurious at best. And from suicide, it became, online sextortion and deep fake.
Just so it's bullying. Isn't it online bullying? Is that sort of the core of it?
Yeah, well, sorry. Well,
apparently
bullying that leads to suicide is that spectrum, I suppose.
Everyone gets bullied. But, I mean, I reckon more kids have been hacked up by African gangs with machetes, like in the last 12 months, and probably committed suicide as a result of social media posts.
Well, don't say that too loud because that's why they banned machetes. That was supposed to solve
They
it.
machetes, but I mean,
Yeah, I
they're
see.
putting a lot more energy into this than they are putting into solving that problem.
So you're saying the machetes, it's a symptom of an underlying issue, just like bullying and with kids is another issue. It's
I'm
just
saying that there's bigger issues around. I think that there's more kids are dying from other things than social media. But why is this? Why is social media? Why are we going to the world?
Yeah.
And saying we are world leaders. That,
Yeah.
doing what we're doing.
Yeah. You're not minimizing the fact that if there is kid or kids out there that do end up in that place, they're not minimizing that at all. But we're just but we're just sort of saying, is this the right way to address it?
I'm saying, is it the most pressing issue for kids?
Yeah.
Realistically, is it?
I don't know.
Drugs, there's all sorts of shit that go on. I'm sure that they could be focusing on reducing harm, but they're going for something that affects the entire community.
I don't have kids. I just don't understand. Sorry, go back to what I said before. As a fucking parent, right? When your kid gets to a certain age, you give them a phone. And before that, you don't let them have a phone.
But remember, we had 20 cents.
20 cents.
We had 20 cents. And if there was a problem, you had one call. That was it. If more than one thing went wrong, then you're fucked. But you literally had 20 cents. And if something went wrong, you'd ring your parents and say, oh, look, I'm in a jam. Come and pick me up. That's what I had anyway. So the fact that a kid now needs a phone 24 hours a day.
But there's such a thing as a dumb phone. Just like you got 20 cents, you give a kid an old Nokia or something, or an iPhone 3, whatever, something that's not social media enabled.
No.
And so there's your community.
And literally, she won't upgrade it. She refuses to use a smartphone. She just loves her flip top. They changed it because it wasn't 4G or something. She had to go and upgrade it to something else, but it's still
2G to 3G
really,
to 4G.
really basic. She was devastated.
Okay, all right.
But anyway, that would be the solution, wouldn't it? You just say, well, if you're worried about social media, just give your kids a normal phone.
Exactly, and it's kind of like vaccinations. There's a certain herd immunity that you get to. If 80 or 90% of kids have these dumb phones, that 5, 10, or 20% whose parents don't give a fuck and say, "Yeah, here's the latest iPhone." Well, if 90% of the kids aren't on the social media network, those 10% that are on it with their parents' consent, it doesn't matter. There's no critical mass.
Have you heard the thing where they're saying, they were talking about banning phones at school? As though, I don't know, it was like, maybe we have to do this. Wouldn't that be the first thing you fucking do, is just ban phones in schools? Like, how are school kids allowed to run around with mobile, especially in class? I mean, Walkmans were banned when I was at school.
I don't understand how it would not be banned. Like, you could say kids allowed to have one in their backpack or in their locker or...
Yeah, in their locker. Yeah, and they can use it on recess and lunchtime. Maybe. I don't know.
Maybe.
I probably would just say, listen, they hand it in at 8 a.m.
Yeah.
And they get it back at 3:30.
Yeah. You don't need to call your mum at recess.
Yeah, exactly. You don't need to do anything. God. There's just so many other ways they could tackle this other than...
Yes. Which, to your point, comes back to your point, which is their true objective might be something other than protecting the kids.
Well, I would say obviously is, but...
Yeah. Okay. Well, no, I'm slowly catching up. Should we go?
Yep.
15-year-olds had one social media account, and 70% of them experienced harm on social media, and 40% of those experienced the most harm.
I'm just talking about YouTube, just because.
Okay, I'm talking 40% experienced it on YouTube. I just want to read you something from YouTube's own research. YouTube stickiness is caused by the interactive nature of our platform. Videos are initially used for quick mood management but result in excessive viewing. Excessive viewing, video watching, is related to addiction. YouTube users control what they want to watch, which keeps them on the platform longer. Video watching encourages a sedentary lifestyle. Poor posture and body aches are also a result of excessive video watching. Overexposure to video leads to decreased...
Oh, sorry. Is she talking about television? Is that what she's talking about?
Yes.
Is she not talking about television?
She's basically talking about the television.
Just remove YouTube, insert television. My God, this woman's out there. Like,
yeah,
YouTube is responsible for bad posture. YouTube.
Yeah.
It's nothing to do with the chair you're in or how long you're sitting in it or any other environmental. It's YouTube.
She just makes me wonder. Is she really not a thoughtful person that actually can understand that she's speaking only one side of the issue? Or does she believe this? Does she believe this is actually her considered opinion?
You know who she reminds me of? Did you see the thing in the UK? I think it was BBC. They had a question time where they get like audience members and they talk about migration.
Okay.
Anyway, they threw in a couple of illegal immigrants.
Yeah.
And one of them was this. I think it's from Iran, and he got his phone and he started reading about the Northern Ireland peace agreement.
Yeah.
If they left the European Court of Human Rights, all this nonsense, which is basically what she's doing. She's just looking at her phone, reading it. She just doesn't really. I don't think she's got a clue what she's even saying.
So you don't think she's thoughtful? You think she's just a mouthpiece of who? I don't know.
I think she's reading this for the very first time because when you listen to it,
Yeah.
it's absurd.
Yeah.
It's absolutely absurd what she's saying.
She seems more intelligent than to just have that as her opinion. But I don't what. Okay, I guess I'm actually a little bit confused by everything she does.
Well, she's literally just reeling off the evils of YouTube as if YouTube on its own
Yes.
creates
Yeah.
all these things.
Yeah, as you said.
Posture.
Yeah, as you said, insert television here. All right, shall I hit play?
Attention spans, easy access to web reduces critical thinking skills. Blue light from screens causes sleep deprivation, ultimately affects the brain's mental processing. Users rely on videos and social media for companionship, leads to social isolation. Gaming content on YouTube is sought out by inappropriately aged children. Teens are strongly influenced by YouTube creators. Young adults suffer anxiety from FOMO, and there is an increasing number of children in therapy after watching YouTube.
So just to go back to what we said earlier,
That's pretty heavy.
Now, hang on. If she said iPads, iPhones, television, then what she's saying would make sense. And in that case, it sounds like we need to ban
Technology.
You need to ban the tech.
Ban technology. Yep.
Because YouTube is just an app, So
Go out.
You can't blame the app.
Go out and have regular harms by grazing your knee. Remember the harms we had when we were 11 years old? Did you trip in the schoolyard and graze your knee?
Always had grazed
And it's like, oh, the schoolyard is full of harms. Every kid has experienced harm.
Yeah, I forgot about all that. Always had grazed knees. Yeah, always falling over. But that's insane.
Yep.
Anyway.
There's so much to unpack. It's actually, she's creating a rabbit hole that you actually almost don't want to chase down every one of her inane points.
Of all the social media, I guess, apps that you could come up with, YouTube is the way she's just labelled YouTube.
Yeah.
It's like she's talking about smack.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Well, Canavan brought it up, so that's why she's addressing it. But to his point, why is it in the mix?
He's just saying, I mean, I think of YouTube and you think of, if you want education, get on YouTube.
It's fucking amazing.
You've got everything there.
It's amazing.
You want to meditate? Get on YouTube. Like anything that she just said, you could find something on YouTube that would benefit if you've got bad posture, you can do your animal moves, you can do stretching exercises. You can
that's true. That's true.
You can do anything. So
YouTube delivers the cures as well as the disease.
All the cures to every single disease that she's just listed.
Okay. Well, here's another point that sort of backs up what you said. She has been banging on about harms to kiddies for the last 3 years in the lead up to this. She has stayed deafeningly silent on the evils of gambling ads, which kids are exposed to all day long.
The worst. That's the issue. Society.
That's
the number one issue that's destroying society.
Nobody debates how harmful gambling and gambling addiction is. And if you get kids young and put them on that path, they may not suicide yet, but they might get to 25, 30.
Oh, no. I'll bet you more people die from fucking getting into debt over gambling.
So the fact that she has stayed stum on that issue implies that, and the reason she stayed stum because Albo has stayed stum on it because all his donors, his donors are basically gambling interests.
Yeah.
So he's like, I can't ban gambling ads on TV because these guys are giving me so much money. And the fact that she is supposed to be a pseudo semi-independent commissioner who can actually confront these unpleasant, unsavory issues or unsavory to the politician issues, and she hasn't.
That's such a valid point. Yeah, she hasn't mentioned anything. Well, she hasn't even mentioned anything about the advertising, has she? Like it's literally about the content.
Yeah.
She's talking about nothing to do with the ads.
Yeah.
The ads are fine.
Yep.
children can continue to do all of that on their parents' account?
They can look at YouTube videos in a logged out state.
Yeah, or even on their parents' account?
I think if they were, Senator, I think if they were doing that on a parent's account, we would expect that Google would assess that.
So
as
they've
to your point, they can do that on a logged on account, which will ensure that they see advertisements. At least if you've got a premium subscription, you can avoid the ads before you watch the video.
Okay.
So she's basically saying, well, in a logged out account, they can watch the videos, they can't comment on them, but they're guaranteed to be exposed to that advertising.
Okay, yeah, understood. But this is what they do a poor job of articulating. In a logged out account, they can't be targeted algorithmically, i.e. for the next video to watch, because there's no history except for the current session. And they can't be subject to the commentary, the chats. So they're not going to be communicating with a mass of other people through that mechanism.
Do you ever put comments on YouTube?
No. No, I don't think so. I think I give the thumbs up sometimes.
Very, very rarely we'll put something on there.
Okay, but the option is there. So this is. Should we go on?
Block my account. So if I was allowing my child as a parent to use my account to look at content, they'd block my account.
They may
So you're going to restrict the rights of them parents.
The user of the account.
I mean, it's just
No idea. How's she going to know what Google's going to do? She's got no idea. She's like, oh, they lied. Where are you getting that information from? Where's Google? Why isn't Google in the room answering these questions? Why are you bloody answering? You got no idea.
Yeah, okay. All right, I'll not delay the committee any longer, but no, there's no longer parental rights in this country. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Senator Canavan. Senator Smith.
And we're back.
We're back with a very exciting project that we're going to undertake. And it is about TikTok.
So Kim's in TikTok. We're going to see if they're going to log him in, log him out, demand his age verification, whatever. Let's go.
As I say, the background is I've had the TikTok, I think, for a few years.
Yep.
Not ever really used it much. But I look at stuff and then I might forward something to you or to my mates, like one of our groups. But apart from that, I've never written a comment about anything.
Okay.
Never interacted with anyone on it. I don't have any friends on it. I just look at it. That's it.
You're like a bullied kid looking for friends but haven't found any.
I literally am. I'm just that, no mates, got no mates.
But at least there's no one there to bully you.
And yeah, so for me, it's, I don't know, I just get a lot of random stuff on it. But anyway, so I opened it up today, day one of the ban. Comes up, we're gonna, there we go, there's a video, everything's cool. Oh, Spanion. So Spanion's up there. And bang, update to our terms.
Can you read it out to us?
So it says, users must now be 16 or older to use TikTok in Australia. We'll use your age information to confirm if you're old enough to use TikTok and for other purposes, as described in our privacy policy. By continuing, you agree to our terms of service.
So when they mention age information, that we're not sure whether that means they're about to ask you some age questions or they've already got in their database a picture of you which has a surmise.
Well, I don't have a profile picture on this.
Not a picture, like a data picture.
Yeah, I have no recollection of whether or not I had to provide my age when I signed up.
Did you sign in with your name?
Yeah, it's all.
So your real name?
I've got a handle, but I don't even remember.
Okay, well, should we see what happens?
Anyway, okay, so I'll press OK. Oh, okay. Is that it?
And you're still active.
Is that it? And there's Spanion.
So there he goes. That was seamless.
Spanion talking shit.
We owe eSafety an apology.
Is that weird?
Well, it could well be. Can I just say,
I can see how that would be troubling to teenagers. Can we show that? Where's that? Can you see that? Is that Pat Payment?
Oh, Jesus. Holy shit. So what we're seeing is an AI video of Pauline Hanson in Parliament in burqa, Fatima Payman behind her. They're all dancing.
Don't forget the goat.
And in the third row is a goat. What the fuck? This is exactly what eSafety wants to ban because it's politically subversive. And if the kiddies laugh at it.
That is, yeah. That's what it's all about.
Dude, the algorithm has got you pretty much dialed, that's for sure.
Interesting. Okay, so I haven't been asked to prove my age, so they're off the hook for now.
Well, this actually might reveal that they have so much information about you, even though you each signed up with maybe a real name, maybe just a handle, who knows, maybe you didn't give them an age. They've been monitoring everything you do. And what these companies do is they cross-fertilize, cross-sell data between the platforms in order to create a picture of you, right? I have this understanding that there's a database out there and there's a user ID code, which is 26 letters and numbers, right?
Yeah.
And even if your name is nowhere mentioned under that listing, and it probably is, but even if it's not, they know everything about you anyway, just from your tracking you with cookies and accounts across the internet.
Well, yeah, because did give me a friend suggestion once.
And sorry, can I say one more thing?
Yeah.
And maybe this is where eSafety is coming from. They know the companies actually have a capability.
I know that's your theory, isn't it?
To actually know everything about you anyway. And she's saying, listen, just fucking use your existing data sets to weed out the kiddies. And in that sense, our concern about anonymous profiling, well, that concern remains because the anonymous account will not be able to be verified, therefore they demand to see your information. So that's still a problem. But just going back a step, what we're seeing is these companies have way too much information to start with.
I agree with that, but my concern is that if the company chooses to block you accidentally, incorrectly, or whatever, misidentifies you, whatever happens, you have no option other than to provide your ID.
Yeah, okay.
That's the only way that you can actually use your account. That's the big flaw that I see in the system.
I see.
It's not like you can, Facebook's, I remember I shut my Facebook account down a few times.
Yep.
That thing never goes away, man.
No.
It's you cannot delete it.
No.
You can't. You can delete it, but all your shit just sits on a server somewhere that Mark Zuckerberg owns.
Yeah.
Ever since then, I've never posted a photo.
Okay.
But
all right.
Yeah.
Good. All right. Well, that's probably enough for today. There's more to be exposed, and more will be exposed in this saga. So
apologies for the letdown with the TikTok. I was really looking forward to having improved my age, but apologies.
All right. Well done.